Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking up, way up, at a place that's, well, captured our imagination for literally ages. Mars, the red planet.
It really has.
And it's so much more than just, a ball of rock floating out there. It feels like it's baked into our collective consciousness, our myths, our dreams.
Absolutely. You think about the ancients. They saw it as this wandering star, right?
Yeah.
Following its weird path across the sky.
Yeah, and the Babylonians, they saw that red color and thought, Nergal, god of war, god of pestilence, powerful stuff.
It tells you something, doesn't it? This isn't just about astronomy. It's deeply symbolic. It's been part of our story forever.
And now, fast forward to today, that ancient pole has found, well, a very modern, very ambitious, and let's be honest, pretty controversial champion in Elon Musk.
Right. His vision for Mars it's huge.
It's beyond huge. He's not just talking about, planting a flag. He wants to build a city, make humans multiplanetary.
Which brings us to the core question, the one everyone's debating.
Exactly. For this deep dive, we're asking, is Elon Musk's Mars plan actually realistic? Or is it maybe more dream than reality? Maybe even a bit delusional.
That's the tightrope, isn't it? Vision versus feasibility.
So our mission today is to really get into it. We've got a stack of sources: history, psychology, sociology, culture, hard science, the works.
The real cross-section.
Our goal: pull out the key insights, the crucial bits of info, basically give you a shortcut to being properly informed on this really complex, really fascinating topic.
Separating the hype from the hurdles.
Yeah, the cosmic dream from the down-to-earth realities. And why this planet specifically has such a hold on us. Okay, let's unpack this.
Great place to start. Because you really can't understand Musk's plan today without looking back at how long we've been obsessed with Mars. It's not new.
Not at all. It's woven right into history.
It really is. It goes way, way back before anyone even thought of rockets. Think Galileo Galilei.
Okay, 1609. First telescopic look.
Exactly. With a telescope that was, incredibly basic by our standards. But suddenly, Mars wasn't just a dot of light anymore.
It was a place, a disk. You could almost imagine something there.
It changed everything. It opened the door from pure myth to, potential reality. And that just fueled more imagination.
Which leads us to Schiaparelli, right? The Italian astronomer in 1877.
Giovanni Schiaparelli, yeah.
Yeah.
He spent ages mapping the surface. Very detailed work for the time.
Yeah.
And he described these features he called canali.
Which just meant channels, like natural grooves or something.
That's what he intended, yes. Natural features. But the word, it got translated or maybe misinterpreted into English as canals.
Ah, and that sounds artificial.
Precisely. And then comes Percival Lowell, an American astronomer, quite wealthy, very enthusiastic.
Maybe a bit too enthusiastic.
Oh, he ran with it. He became convinced these weren't natural channels at all. He thought they were massive, engineered irrigation canals built by intelligent Martians.
Wow. To water a dying planet.
That was his theory. And the public went absolutely wild for it. Newspapers, lectures, people genuinely believed in this advanced Martian civilization building canals.
It became this huge cultural thing, this obsession.
A massive cultural moment.
Yeah.
And that public excitement, that misinterpretation, it directly fed into popular culture. Think H.G. Wells.
The War of the Worlds, 1898. Classic.
Total classic. Wells took that public fascination, that underlying anxiety about Martians, and flipped it. His Martians weren't struggling canal builders, they were invaders.
Cold, calculating, technologically superior invaders. Terrifying.
Utterly terrifying. And then, years later, Orson Welles' radio broadcast in 1938.
Caused actual panic, didn't it? People thought it was real news.
Some did, yes. It cemented Mars in our minds as this place of potential life, but also potential threat. Science fact and science fiction got really blurred.
So we've been dreaming and worrying about Mars for centuries, but then the actual space age kicks in and we start actually going there, or at least sending probes.
Exactly. The dream starts becoming tangible. You have these huge milestones. NASA's Mariner 4 in 1965.
The first successful flyby. Game changer. Gave us our first close-up pictures.
And what a shock they must have been. Not Lowell's canals, but this cratered, kind of moon-like, desolate landscape.
A reality check for sure, but it proved we could get there.
It absolutely did. Then, a massive leap forward in 1976. The Viking program.
Viking 1, the first successful soft landing. That's incredible.
An astonishing engineering feat. Actually putting a lander on the surface, taking samples, analyzing the atmosphere.
They were looking for life, weren't they? The results were kind of ambiguous.
Famously ambiguous, yes. But the mission itself proved we could land complex machinery on another planet and operate it. It laid the groundwork for everything since.
And the discoveries kept piling up, keeping the dream alive, like Curiosity in 2012.
NASA's Curiosity rover, yeah, landing in Gale Crater, that was huge. Finding organic compounds.
The building blocks of life. Carbon-based molecules right there in the Martian soil.
Exactly. And seasonal fluctuations in methane gas, which on Earth can be linked to biological activity.
Now, that doesn't mean life confirmed, obviously.
Definitely not confirmed. But it strongly suggests Mars could have had, or maybe even still has, conditions suitable for microbes. It keeps the possibility tantalizingly open.
Which brings us right back to Elon Musk. He steps into this long history.
He really does. Found SpaceX in 2002. And not just to launch satellites. His stated mission from the get-go, make life multiplanetary.
Not just exploration, but settlement, colonization, a second home for humanity.
So when you see it in that context, his plan isn't just out of the blue. It's building on centuries of this human focus on Mars.
But he brings something different to the table.
That's the key insight. What sets Musk apart is this fusion, this really potent mix of science fiction level ambition with hardcore venture capitalism.
Silicon Valley meets Star Trek.
Kind of. He's applying that move fast, break things, startup mentality, backed by serious private funding, to the biggest frontier imaginable. He's trying to engineer the dream.
It's not just the what going to Mars, but the how and the why that feels different, which gets us into the psychology of it all. Why Mars? Why does it call to us so strongly?
Yeah, beyond the science, Mars operates on this really deep symbolic level.
It represents what?
Well,
Hope? A fresh start? Escape?
all of the above, probably. Hope for a future, the thrill of conquering the unknown, maybe escaping Earth's problems. It's a giant mirror for our own desires and anxieties.
And you mentioned Jungian psychology, the hero's journey. How does that fit?
But think about that classic story structure. The hero leaves the known world, faces trials in the unknown, and returns transformed. Musk's Mars narrative fits that archetype almost perfectly.
Earth is the known world, Mars is the unknown challenge.
Exactly. Leaving Earth's problems, heading towards Mars with all its dangers, the radiation, the isolation, those are the trials, the dragons to slay, and the transformation is humanity becoming multiplanetary.
And Musk positions himself as the leader of this quest.
Often, yeah. His persona, his willingness to take risks, it fits that archetype. And that resonates because, maybe especially now, we have this deep psychological need for meaning, for a grand purpose.
Especially with, climate change anxiety, political instability. It offers a big, bold goal.
A clear quest in uncertain times. And he taps into some specific psychological currents very effectively.
Like the backup plan idea, the planetary insurance policy.
That's a big one, apocalyptic anxiety. He frames Mars as essential for humanity's long-term survival. Asteroid hits, pandemics, war. If Earth becomes uninhabitable, Mars is our lifeboat.
That speaks to a pretty primal fear of extinction.
Absolutely. And it connects to another pattern, the techno-savior complex.
The idea that some genius innovator like a Jobs or a Tesla can solve all our problems with technology.
Precisely. Musk plays into that trope. People see his success with Tesla, with SpaceX launching rockets, and think, if anyone can pull off Mars, it's him. It builds this almost subconscious belief.
And then there's the appeal for people who are just disillusioned with Earth.
Utopian escapism. Mars is a blank slate, a tabula rasa.
A chance to start over, free from politics, history, environmental damage.
The ultimate reset button. Build a better society from scratch. That's incredibly appealing psychologically if you feel like things here are broken.
But this vision, however inspiring, also has major sociological implications, doesn't it? It highlights some uncomfortable divides.
It absolutely does. So this is where the criticism really comes in. The narrative reveals these widening class-based techno divides. Meaning, while a relatively small, wealthy elite dreams of Mars colonies and invests billions, vast numbers of people on Earth lack basic needs.
Clean water, food, healthcare.
So it raises questions about priorities. Resource allocation.
Huge questions. Critics ask, should we be spending potentially trillions on settling Mars when we have such urgent problems right here? Who benefits from this vision? Is it an escape for humanity or just for a select few?
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because this isn't just academic debate. It's happening now. Right. Musk's plan is igniting these debates globally. In a world already grappling with AI, climate change, geopolitical tensions.
And NASA, the traditional leader, is now sharing the stage with SpaceX.
That's a massive shift. Government agencies and private enterprise now competing, sometimes collaborating, but definitely sharing the spotlight. It's changing the whole landscape of space exploration.
And pop culture is right there reflecting and maybe even shaping these ideas.
Definitely. You see it in films like The Martian or Interstellar.
The Martian survival through ingenuity, science saving the day, very Musk-like themes.
Exactly. An interstellar Earth is dying. We have to leave, find a new home. It taps into that same sense of urgency and cosmic destiny. These films normalize the idea of interplanetary life.
And beyond culture, there's the whole geopolitical angle. Mars isn't just a scientific target anymore.
No, it's absolutely become a new arena for soft power, for national prestige. Look at China.
Landing their Zhurong rover in 2021, a huge statement.
A massive demonstration of capability. And India's Mangalyaan orbiter reaching Mars in 2014 on the first try, incredibly impressive, very cost-effective engineering.
So it's not just the US and Russia anymore, it's a global stage.
It really is. These missions are about national pride, showing technological advancement, signaling their place in the world order. Mars is part of that geopolitical chessboard now.
And all this activity is fueling what people are calling the space economy.
Yeah, it's booming. Things that sounded like pure sci-fi a decade ago are now actual business plans. Asteroid mining.
Orbital tourism, lunar bases.
In space manufacturing, there's serious investment flowing in, startups popping up everywhere. Musk's vision, which once seemed pretty fringe, is now actively driving parts of this economy.
It's reshaping defense budgets, tech investment, media coverage. It's pulled space into the mainstream business world.
It really has. It's not just a dream anymore, it's an emerging industry.
Okay, but let's pump the brakes a bit. Musk says Mars is feasible, maybe soon. But the skepticism is real, and it's grounded in some pretty harsh realities.
Oh, absolutely. The hurdles are immense, and the controversies are significant.
Let's start with the ethics, the whole colonization framing.
That's a big one for critics. They argue that talking about Mars as a new world to be settled ignores the problematic history of colonization on Earth.
The echoes of imperialism, claiming land, extracting resources.
Exactly. It raises uncomfortable questions about projecting those same patterns onto another planet, especially one that might harbor its own indigenous microbial life. It's a sensitive point.
And then just the raw challenge of keeping people alive there, the survival delusion idea.
Right. Many scientists warn the dangers are severely underestimated. You've got constant, high-energy cosmic radiation outside Earth's protective magnetic field.
Which causes cancer, cell damage.
Over the long term, yes. Then there's the low gravity, about 38% of Earth's. We know it causes bone density loss, muscle wasting, affects vision, cardiovascular health.
We don't really know the effects of decades in low G.
We don't. And the psychological toll. Extreme isolation, confinement, being billions of miles from home in a hostile environment. It's immense.
So the idea that we can just pack up and live there easily is optimistic?
Extremely optimistic, according to many experts. We lack proven long-term solutions for these fundamental survival challenges.
And that ties into the environmental argument too, doesn't it? The idea that this is all a distraction.
That's a major criticism, that focusing vast resources, money, brainpower, attention on Mars diverts us from fixing Earth's urgent crises.
Climate change, biodiversity loss, pollution.
All of it. Does the dream of escaping to Mars make us less likely to save the planet we're already on? That's the uncomfortable question critics raise.
Let's get into some specifics, the lesser-known hurdles. Martian dust, for example. It's not just dust, is it?
No, it's toxic. It contains perchlorates. These are chemicals that can interfere with the human thyroid, irritate lungs, and it's incredibly fine and abrasive.
So it gets everywhere, into habitats, equipment.
Potentially, yes. It could interfere with seals, clog filters, damage electronics. Besides being a health hazard, it's a persistent, difficult environmental challenge.
And what about Musk's timelines? They've shifted a bit.
Considerably. He once talked about colonization by 2024. Now it's more like the late 2030s, maybe later.
Which suggests the difficulty is greater than anticipated.
It certainly indicates the sheer scale of the challenge. Even with SpaceX's resources and approach, making humans multiplanetary is proving incredibly hard. These aren't just minor delays.
And the big one, terraforming, making Mars Earth-like. Is that even possible?
Theoretically. Maybe, practically.
Yeah.
It's mind-bogglingly difficult. Mars has almost no atmosphere, 1% of Earth's density, and no global magnetic field to protect it.
So you need to thicken the atmosphere, warm the planet.
Release massive amounts of greenhouse gases, somehow restart a magnetic field. We're talking about processes that, if they worked at all, would take thousands, maybe tens of thousands of years.
Not exactly a weekend project.
Not remotely. It's science fiction on a geological timescale, far beyond our current capabilities or even understanding.
We see glimpses of these struggles in real-world examples, like the Starship tests.
Absolutely. The SpaceX Starship program since 2020, we've seen amazing progress, but also spectacular explosions.
The fail fast, iterate rapidly approach.
Exactly. It pushes boundaries quickly, but it also very publicly demonstrates how incredibly difficult and dangerous building these massive interplanetary vehicles actually is. Each failure is a data point, but a costly one.
And then there's something like the Dear Moon project.
Right, the collaboration with Yusaku Maezawa, the Japanese billionaire, sending civilians, artists around the moon on Starship.
That feels like a blend of exploration and spectacle. PR.
It's definitely a mix. It showcases potential commercial applications, generates huge public interest, tests the hardware, but it's also about creating this grand, inspiring event. Space tourism meets art project.
But we also have cautionary tales, right? Like Mars One.
Oh, Mars One is the big one. Launched in 2012, huge media splash, promising a one-way trip to Mars, permanent settlement by the 2020s.
They had thousands of applicants, selection rounds.
Massive public engagement. But then, it unraveled. By 2019, it was basically exposed as financially unrealistic, scientifically dubious, and it collapsed.
A reality check on private Mars ambitions.
A huge one. It showed how easy it is to sell the dream, but how incredibly hard it is to fund and engineer the reality. It's a stark warning about overpromising in space exploration.
So, taking all this and the ambition, the challenges, the history, the failures, what does it all mean? How do we weigh this?
It means listening carefully to the experts, the people who've spent their lives thinking about this. Their views vary widely.
Like Dr. Robert Zubrin, founder of the Mars Society, he's a big proponent.
Very much so. He supports Musk's goals generally. But even Zubrin says the biggest hurdles aren't necessarily technological anymore. He thinks they're political and economic.
Meaning, if we just committed the resources and had the will, we could do it.
That's his argument. He believes the tech is mostly there or developable, but it requires a massive, sustained global commitment, like the Apollo program, but bigger.
Okay, but then you have someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Right. And he's much more skeptical about the current feasibility. He admires the ambition, the inspiration factor.
He calls it a suicide mission with today's tech.
Pretty much. He emphasizes the radiation, the lack of infrastructure, the sheer hostility of the environment. He questions the cost, both in money and potentially human lives, asking if it's the right priority now.
And then there was Stephen Hawking's prediction, humanity needing to leave Earth within 100 years.
That adds another layer of urgency, doesn't it? His view, based on existential threats here, does lend some weight to Musk's backup plan argument, makes it feel less like a choice, more like a necessity for some.
Beyond the scientists, though, you have sociologists and others offering different critiques. Evgeny Morozov and tech solutionism.
Yeah, Morozov is very critical of the idea that technology alone can fix deep societal problems. He sees grand Mars plans as capitalist escapism.
Escaping Earth's problems instead of fixing them.
That's his critique, that it's a convenient distraction from inequality, climate change, systemic issues we're unwilling to tackle head-on here. A symptom rather than a solution.
And what about the astrobiologists, like Chris McKay?
McKay represents a different scientific priority. He argues Mars exploration should focus first and foremost on science understanding the planet, searching for life before we talk about colonization.
Science first, settlement later, if at all.
Basically, yes. Don't rush to colonize before we fully understand what's there, potentially including microbial life. It's about prioritizing knowledge over expansion, at least initially.
And these differing views aren't universal. They vary hugely depending on where you are in the world, right?
Massively. Cultural perspectives are key. In the West, especially the US, you often see Mars through this lens of like technological manifest destiny, the next frontier.
Innovation, pushing boundaries, almost a continuation of historical expansion.
Right, whereas in parts of the global South, Africa, Latin America, the perspective can be very different.
More like elitist escapism, a luxury dream disconnected from daily struggles.
Often, yes. Spending trillions on Mars while basic needs aren't met on Earth can seem profoundly unjust, a stark symbol of global inequality.
And indigenous perspectives offer another contrast.
A really important one. Many indigenous cosmologies emphasize Earth stewardship, interconnectedness, living in balance with this planet. The whole idea of conquering or escaping to another world is fundamentally different from that worldview.
Prioritizing caretaking over interplanetary flight.
Exactly. And then look at China and India. Their space programs, including Mars missions, are often framed differently again.
More about national pride, demonstrating global ascent.
That's a huge part of it. Showcasing technological prowess, national achievement, rising influence. Colonization might be a long-term goal, but the immediate driver is often national identity and geopolitical positioning.
So what's fascinating here is the Mars dream isn't one single thing. It reflects vastly different values and priorities around the world.
Totally. It becomes this mirror reflecting our own hopes, fears, and cultural baggage.
Okay, so pulling it all together, Musk's Mars plan. It really feels like this paradox, doesn't it?
It absolutely is. It's simultaneously this incredibly inspiring, visionary leap.
Pushing science, inspiring people.
And potentially a delusion. Hugely impractical, ethically complex, maybe even dangerous. It really depends on your perspective.
It blends inspiration with impracticality, altruism with ambition.
Science with spectacle. It's all mixed together.
The strengths are clear, though. Pushing innovation.
Driving STEM interest globally.
Offering psychological hope, a grand narrative.
Definitely. Those are powerful positives.
But the weaknesses, the dangers, they're just as real. Ignoring inequality, ethical blind spots.
Underestimating the sheer difficulty of long-term survival on Mars.
The risk of it becoming just a vanity project for the ultra-rich.
All valid concerns. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this paradox, this tension, it forces us to really look at why we want to go, what's driving us. Curiosity, fear, ego.
So wrapping up this deep dive, it's clear this isn't just about technology. It's history, psychology, politics, ethics. It's everything.
It really touches on all aspects of the human condition. And the whole Mars conversation, ultimately, it holds up a mirror to us.
Reflecting our fears of collapse, our hopes for redemption, that deep urge to explore, to transcend our limits.
It's a test, isn't it? Not just of our engineering skills, but of our ethics, our priorities as a species, our collective imagination.
Which leaves us with that fundamental question. Do we focus all our energy on fixing the world we have? Or do we pour resources into fleeing to a new one, whatever the cost?
Maybe, just maybe. By chasing Mars, by looking so intently at the red planet, we'll end up seeing the true value of the blue one more clearly.
Appreciating what we have right here.
Perhaps. Realizing what's truly precious and maybe worth saving first.
Something for you to think about. What stood out most to you in all of this? We hope this deep dive gave you some new ways to think about Mars, Musk, and our future. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions.